That snaps for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon,
we can't ask Rashad questions.
Hey,
Brian
Rashad.
McKnight's son has tragically departed Earth. He's passed away. Rest in peace to Brian McKnight's son, Niko McKnight. Estranged son of Brian McKnight reportedly passes of cancer. This is from the griot. Claude McKnight, the brother of the polarizing R&B singer, confirmed that Niko has passed away on social media. This was posted on May 30th, which is today. Or yesterday, if you're in the Eastern time zone. Niko McKnight, a singer and guitarist who also happens to be the estranged son of R&B star Brian McKnight, has reportedly died after a battle with cancer. The news was confirmed by the brother. Oh, hold on. Who wrote this? Who wrote this, by the way? Panama Jackson. Shout out to Panama Jackson. The news was confirmed by the brother of Brian, Claude McKnight, in a video posted on TikTok on May 29th. The date Niko passed away has not been yet confirmed as of yet, nor his age. Dang, that's sad. Also, that's a video. This morning, I found out my nephew, Niko McKnight, passed away. He's been bravely battling cancer for the past 2 years or so, Claude said. Niko is one of those amazing kids and quirky and curious and ridiculously talented. Amazing singer, amazing guitar player, had an eye as a photographer, and one of those kids, in the least my estimation, that you always wanted to be around. He continued in his praise of his nephew. Niko, born Nicholas, and his siblings and mother made headlines some years ago as personal matters turned public when it was revealed that Brian had an estranged relationship with several of his children. As recently as 2024, he referred to his 4 oldest children, Brian Jr., Niko, Brianna, and Clyde, as products of sin. Oh my goodness. Saying that in order to live a life that you love, you have to get rid of that evil and negativity, even if that evil and negativity is related to you, according to page 6. Claude didn't address the family drama directly, but did speak on the topic. I wanted to post this about Niko, about his legacy, about how amazing he was, not about what some of you have heard about family drama that has existed for quite some time in our family. He said in the video, I don't know exactly what is going on there. I know what I've seen. I know what I've heard from all parties involved. A lot of things didn't get resolved. Claude McKnight added, I know that kid had a lot inside, a lot of eating at him for a long time. I may have contributed to what happened to him. What I do know, he's out of pain right now. I just want to uplift that young man. R.P. Niko McKnight. Yes, for sure. Kid was extremely young. Like they said, they can't confirm his age, but I believe he was, I don't even want to speculate about his age, but extremely young man. And to go out with cancer, that is a sad story. Here's the video, the TikTok that we saw earlier. But here's the video.
So all day, I said to myself I wasn't going to post about this. And as the day wore on, I realized that how could I not post about this? This morning, I found out that my nephew, Niko McKnight, passed away. He'd been bravely battling cancer for the last 2 years or so. And I have a lot of feelings right now. I'm not going off a script or anything like that. I'm just going to be raw with how I'm feeling. Niko was one of those amazing kids who was quirky and curious and ridiculously talented. Amazing singer, an amazing guitar player, had a great eye, was a photographer. And just one of those kids that, at least in my estimation, was somebody you always wanted to be around. And so it really sucks that he's no longer with us. And I will also say, probably one of the reasons why I wasn't going to post about it is I post a lot of things, but I don't post a lot of really, really serious subject things, or certainly family things. And I wanted to post this about Niko, about his legacy, about how amazing he is, and not about what some of you may have heard about, the family drama that has existed for quite some time in our family. I'm not here to discuss that or to talk about how that happened or why it happened. This is not the time or the place, but what I will say is, in any situation, there's always at least 3 sides to a story. There's my side, your side, and the truth. And the truth, a lot of times, is somewhere in between. So here's the thing. I don't know exactly what was going on there. I know what I've seen. I know what I've heard from all parties involved. And I try not to judge. I just try to be as loving to each person as I can be, because apparently there's so much hurt going on, or was so much hurt going on, that a lot of things didn't get resolved. And again, I want to go back to Niko. I know that kid had a lot inside, a lot eating at him for a long, long, long time. That may have contributed to what happened with him. What I do know is he's out of pain now. And so I can rejoice in the fact that he no longer has to go through the chemo and the radiation and everything else. But I just want to uplift that young man and say we will see him again one day. I love you, Niko. Uncle Claude.
I say that's really tough. B, I definitely need to see, like, while I'm out here. I don't know. It's just kind of like a good reminder that I need to see my nephews and my niece for sure. I want to see some more about, like, this thing, like if there's a actual video. Okay. Let me see. Hey, once we get to 5,000 subs, if you're new to the channel, I'm getting YouTube red. No more advertisements on my reaction videos. I'll just be, you know what I'm saying? Feel me?
Hey guys, it's Brian McKnight.
This is from how many years ago? 5 years ago? This 5 years ago. Brian McKnight on camera talking about the whole thing about abandoning his kids. This is something I heard about in passing, but like I just didn't really, honestly, I didn't look into too much, just because it's like, all right, that seemed crazy. That's crazy, bro, but kind of minding my business.
I've been traveling about 17 hours to Guam. I have a concert tonight, and I got off the plane to some of the most heinous craziness I've ever seen in my life, that my oldest son, Brian, would post that I'm abandoning my children. And the reason why, I suppose, is because I have a new family. And I guess this stems from a post that I made the other day about my son, Jack, who I'm very proud of, which isn't to say I'm not and haven't been proud of my other children, but I was proud of this one for the things that he did that day. We'll get back to that in a second. Anyone who knows me knows over the last 20 years, 30 years now, as a matter of fact, that I've been there for my children every step of the way until recently. And let's be clear, my two sons are 30 and 27, not 12, not 13, but 30 and 27. Now, my daughter's about to turn 18. That's another story I'll get to in a second. I've never missed a day of child support. I've never done anything adverse to my children whatsoever. I've always been there. I've always been there with advice, whether they took it or not. I've always been the sounding board, and I've always been the one that tried to help them achieve whatever dreams they were wanting to reach out for. I guess one of my only faults is that I gave my children everything that I didn't have in the hopes that they would appreciate it, because I know how much I would have appreciated it when I was their age. I would tell you, as parents out there, entitling your children is probably one of the worst things you can do. And I know I am guilty of that. For whatever reasons, I'm guilty of that. Tough love is a tough thing as a parent to try to institute to your children, because you want to help them as much as you can. And I did as much as I possibly could. When I stopped doing that for them, BJ was 25 and Niko was 22. And it wasn't like I completely cut them off at that point. That happened much later. But I've been there. When I put them out of my house, I gave them an apartment for 2 years. And I said, guys, this is it. This is the time to grow up. I'm giving you 2 years. I'm going to pay for everything for 2 years, but you're going to have to work or do something, because at the end of those 2 years, that's going to be it. It's time to be men here, guys. It's time to grow up. At the end of those 2 years, they hadn't done any of it. It was just right around the time that Leilani and I had gotten together. Leilani was working at Children's Hospital. And let's be clear, Leilani has been one of the only people who's been an advocate to keeping us together, to keeping us having a relationship, because she wants to have the nuclear family as much as I did. and they have spit in her face at every turn. She got them jobs at the hospital, $18 an hour with benefits and with the option of the hospital actually paying for them to go back to school. They said, and I quote, that they knew they didn't want to stop smoking and they would have to pass a drug test. And the day I had the doctors looking into it, Niko's on there, taking a big puff, which is fine. If you want to smoke, that's fine. I'm not saying that that's bad. If that's your choice, that's your choice. But what I'm telling you is that we have been advocates for them every step of the way. Now let's go to the part where we have been estranged. Again, we talk about abandonment. I'm not abandoning them. We are estranged, which happens more often than not in this particular situation. BJ broke into our home a few months ago and he put X's on the eyes of our wedding photos. And then he put a photo of my first wedding on Leilani's vanity. It was at that moment. And after I heard him say, and was pointed to from other friends of mine that saw his posts on social media, that he basically said that I was better off dead to him than alive. I was more valuable to him dead than alive. And that was the end of me dealing with him.
It's a child, bro. Like, I mean, like, I understand, like, dude might have been 25 at the time, right? At the same time, it's still like he's obviously having a tough time with you having this new life with this new woman, but B, like, kicking him out the crib. Like, it's a weird thing because I'm not necessarily a Nepo baby, right? Like, I moved back in to my parents for a couple of, I say a couple years, like 1 year with my mom and then 1 year with my dad when I first moved back to Atlanta. And then the last year I lived in Atlanta by myself again. And then every other year after college, I've lived on my own. So it's like, I don't know, like, but I'm saying all this to say, like, they wanted to help me out, and then towards kind of like a couple times they proposed rent. Anytime they propose rent, I would pay my share and things of that sort. But I ain't gonna pay rent to stay with my folks, bro. Like, I might as well just live by myself. So I don't know. I always take that independence and things of that sort at the end of the day, for real, over saving money, because living with your parents as an adult is crazy too. Like, they just, you still kind of live under their rules and stuff like that. And it's like, bro, like, once you live by yourself and you pay bills by yourself and stuff, like, it's frustrating. So for me, I'm saying all this to say, for me, I personally didn't want to live under my parents after a certain age because it just gets annoying, bro. Like, and I love my folks. But like, it gets annoying, bro. Like, you can't fully even just live the way that you're used to living after living by yourself for 4 years of school. And then, a few years after school, if you were living by yourself after school. So for his kids, though, they might have just really liked living, under Pop's roof, because Dad, like he said at the beginning of this video, he's 17 hours of traveling to Colombia or wherever he is in the world, Peru, wherever he is, to perform a show. So Joker, if he mostly on the road, they probably like, Pop's barely home. That's where we get our freedom. That's where we get our independence. And he cover everything. And that's the reason why he worked, is to cover everything for us, generational wealth. So it's like, if Black people working for generational wealth, and Brian McKnight might have achieved generational wealth for his kids to eat, it's like, why you gotta be like, nah, kids, y'all gotta go, y'all gotta work? I don't know, bro. It's a weird thing, bro. I think there's a bunch of weird dynamics, full stories that we don't know. Like his brother said, it's Brian McKnight's truth, the kid's truth, and then the truth. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I feel like those kids were probably told, like, they good. As long as you got me, you good. And then, he met this new lady, and the new lady might have been like, yo, that's crazy that you got your 20-something-year-olds in here. And he probably booted him out the house after that, booted him out the crib, said, you gotta get out and get a job. And they're like, I hate this lady. She making us get jobs. Like, Dad, I thought you said you had us. Like, you said, want to make a dream come. Like, that song alone would have been enough to hold us Know what I mean? So I get what they saying from their side point, but and then it's like if you haven't been trained, like I said, I'm not a nepo baby, so it's like I think I've grown up with parents who have done well for themselves 100%. I had to say that. But at the same time, it's like me personally, I always wanted to, you know what I mean? Like I always had that itch to be independent and get it on my own and not ask for help, financial help from my folks. Like halfway through college, we're working jobs and stuff like that and having scholarship money and, you know what I'm saying, scrabbling up other money and everything like that and benefits. I was paying my way through school, bro. Like I paid my way through school probably like the second half of college. And so it's like that's just kind of the mentality I've always had of just like I'm gonna get it on my own, you know. But that's my mentality. If you were raised on some like daddy got you, then you gonna grow up with the mindset of daddy got me, bro. That's just not me though. So I mean, I don't know. But me personally looking at this with no other further context, it's looking like a case of they were raised like daddy got you and daddy, you know what I'm saying, broke up with your mama, got with a new girl, and the new girl said, nah, that's crazy. These boys is grown men and they still in the crib just eating your snacks. Like they need a job. And he said, you know what? You're right, Charlene. Hey, Charlene said y'all need to get out. They said, I hate Charlene. I hate working. Daddy, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's what happened. But yeah.
If you look at my Instagram, you'll see that not my last video, but the video before that, 42, the song was written by Brian and I, and it was directed, the video, by Niko. And I went on and I said how proud I was of Niko at the time, and I really, really was. He did an awesome job in that video. Even before that, less than 2 years ago, these are the two gentlemen who stood up for me as my best men in my wedding. So abandonment, deadbeat dad, I'll reiterate, I've never missed a day of child support. I've been there every step of the way. BJ, he talks about Jack's new car. BJ had 3 brand new cars before he was 22. But I'm not talking about material things, because none of this has anything to do with money. It's about respect. Respect goes both ways. And even in family, there's a line.
They the children, bro. Like, I don't understand how you a grown man. You know what I'm saying? Like Brian McKnight, how old, bro? And this video was 5 years ago, so we'll take off 5 years off of that. He 55, so that means in this video he was darn near, you know what I'm saying? He was 50, bro. He was 50 in this video. So it's like you 50 years old, a father. You're the adult here. You know what I'm saying? They are the children. You're supposed to be understanding of like, this is why the kids are upset. I presented this lifestyle to them that I was going to take care of everything for them. I told them that it was going to get real and I was going to have to eventually cut them off. They didn't take me seriously, and that's why they're upset. In that, them being upset, I have to understand and prepare that they are going to be upset. I can't catch me to no surprise that you upset and I'm going to just cut you. Oh, I ain't talking to you no more. Bro, what? And then to know that Niko was battling being sick, and it's like, y'all was still exchange? Bro, that's crazy, twin. If I found out, if I'm beefing, right, with a family member, I find out said family member is sick, bro, beef is done. It's dropped. To keep it a gang, like, it's done. That's my kid at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? What did he say? He cut him off when they were like 22? When he was like 22? For 22 years, that was your seed. That was like your best man at the wedding. And even after finding out he's sick, you still going to ignore him because of like he got mad that you cut him off financially? 5 years? Come on, bro. Like, come on, bro.
That shouldn't and should not ever be crossed.
They're children, bro.
It's crazy to me that people will just believe anything. And I thought it was important to set the record straight and let you guys know that abandonment has nothing to do with any of this. Deadbeat dad, I've been there every step of the way. And let's also remember that these kids are 30 and 27, not 12. It's time for grown men to be grown men. And I'm sorry that tough love happens to be this way. And I do wish them the best. I want them to have and to reach their dreams and their full potential. But like any other man in the world, you got to go out there and you got to take it. As far as my daughter is concerned, her mother, if you look back at my Instagram, she was a part of this family too, with Jack and Julie and Leilani and myself. And unfortunately, along the way, a couple of years ago, I got wind that there was an older cousin who was above 18 who was quite possibly having sex with her. So I called, as a father should, to the state office for children's affairs there in Arizona, and I never heard anything back. But the next thing that her mother did was to block all of us from her social media, from her phone, and completely estranged her from us. What that told me was they didn't want me to be involved in her life that way. So to see the post that she said, considering that her mother only had a child with me for money in the first place, and I'll reiterate this, I have not missed a child support payment. She goes to one of the most incredible private schools in Arizona. So I don't know where this is all coming from, but I thought that I needed to let everybody know that there's another side to this story. You can choose to believe what you want. I thought that I would lay it out there for you. Anything that I say is actual and factual. All you have to do is Google Brian McKnight and Sons, and you'll see us singing all over YouTube. Go back and look at my Instagram. Go back a couple of years. You'll see that I posted about all of my children. But remember that these kids, these boys they're grown men, and tough love is exactly what it is. It's tough love. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening. And I hope that gives you a little bit more perspective.
Like he said, there are videos about him singing with his sons and stuff like that. I do want to see this.
Like, whatever you're going through with your family, you're going through it behind closed doors, the public shit.
And he's doing it with all that shit is corny. I don't want to sound like I'm repping for him. All I'm saying is I'm not taking Brian McKnight's music out of my playlist because his kids is assholes.
I don't think anybody else is.
When you blaming the children? You might have bad vibes, yo.
Fuck, man. I like this show.
I didn't mean to laugh like that. Let me see. What did they say though? What did they say? Like he said, there's videos of them singing. They singing the national anthem here. Niko singing right here. They got a whole YouTube page, McKnight Bros. They haven't uploaded in 5 years. I'm trying to see if there's anything of like Niko saying anything. Sing for us is 16 years ago. They're still on good terms. Is there like a thing of them like saying, you know what I mean?
Tyrese is being called out by the son of his longtime friend. Tyrese came to the defense of Brian McKnight after the masses slammed the fellow singer for labeling his biological adult children as a product of sin. Tyrese used to sleep under our pool table when I was a kid, he wrote on his Instagram stories Tuesday. Niko then told the sweet lady crooner that he should focus on fixing his relationship with his own daughter. Tyrese is being called out by the son of his longtime friend. Tyrese came to the defense of Brian McKnight after the masses slammed the fellow singer for labeling his biological adult children as a product of sin. Tyrese used to...
He said, Tyrese used to sleep under our pool table when I was a kid. I know the 90s R&B brotherhood blood is thicker than anything, but you should sit this one out, champ. You have a relationship to fix of your own with your own children and your own past decisions, and you made on behalf of Blink and Power. The allegiance to these two things is what keeps you guys from seeing. That's the only real thing that matters in the end is family. Real man can see past the stuff. Let me stop though. This 46-hour chemo infusion has me ready to fade Jody. That's not right. Peace and prosperity. Yeah, like that's insane, bro. Beefing with your kid when you know your kid got cancer, bro, is insane, dog. Like me personally, like I don't know, though. Like I don't think there's any circumstances that are just like beyond saving that. Me personally, I don't think there's anything like that. Is there Instagram live from Niko? This man had cancer, bro, and he was, you know what I'm saying? Like he just didn't care. Orlando Brown drags Kyle Massey on Instagram live. Nah, I'm sorry. I just looked up Instagram live and I saw that. Okay, I think this is it with this story. But geez Louise, man. I don't know. I think that's pretty sad. Pretty sad, bro. Rest in peace, Niko. Cancer is a horrific disease. I do not wish it on my worst enemy or my worst enemy's family. And yeah, man. Rest in peace to that young man. That's tough.
That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon, We can't ask Rashad a question.
Hey, Rashad.